Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today I am doing a Blu-ray collection update video. It has been quite a while since I have done my last one, and I have so many movies that either I have been sent by subscribers that I have picked up myself. Also, I have a couple that have been sent to me by various studios, and also I have a huge collection that has been amounted from MVD Visual, which also sends me a lot of Arrow video titles as well. So let's go ahead and just get this thing started because it is going to be a long video. So before going any further, make sure you smash that like button, light up that fire button if you're watching on Odyssey. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with that bell notification turned on. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. And also, as we go through these, let me know if you have seen any of these films and what your thoughts on them are. All right, let's go ahead and get this started off. Again, I just am surrounded by Blu-rays and some 4K titles and DVDs as well. So this thing, as I was getting everything set up, I'm like, oh Lord, that's been a really long time. And so hopefully I'm able to get through them all as quickly as possible. And also, if you are someone who sent me one of these, I hope to be able to make sure to give you the proper shout out. If I have not shouted you out already, again, if I get one or two wrong, I do apologize on that. But the first one I want to mention is a newer film that I have been sent on 4K, and that is the film The Hitman Wife's Bodyguard. This was sent to me by Lionsgate, so shout out to Lionsgate for sending this my way. This film includes the 4K Ultra HD and also a Blu-ray disc, all of which have various special features on them. It has here on the 4K Ryan, Sam, Salma, One Effed Up Family, Gone Soft, the new Michael Bryce, Hitman Wife's Bodyguard, hashtag Stunt Life, and then on the Blu-ray on the set of Hitman Wife's Bodyguard, gag reel theatrical trailers, and so you get special features on both of these discs. This also, of course, comes with 4K Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, and so if you are someone that's a 4K collector, you have a 4K television, and you like to embrace all of the deep, rich colors that you get with a 4K release, again, you're going to get all of that with this film right here. I've actually not yet been able to watch this movie. I just watched for the first time The Hitman's Bodyguard the other day, and it was a pretty good time. It was a lot of fun. There was some elements of CGI that I wasn't too crazy about, but overall, I thought that it again was kind of just a fun, compelling story. Just kind of mindless, fun entertainment. Obviously, some objective issues, but subjectively fun. So this is a film that definitely seems like it's going to fit in a lot of the same categories, especially since it's bringing in a lot of different people. So you not only have Antonio Banderas, but you're also having Morgan Freeman being brought into this film also. And so anyway, this is available. It just went out a couple weeks ago, available on 4K. So if you have not yet seen this film, go ahead and check that out. Again, it's available on all major sellers at this point. So again, thank you, Lionsgate, for sending that film my way. All right, so another film that I actually picked up recently because I had not actually seen the film, and I really liked this director from last year. He had one of my favorite movies of last year, and last year that film was The Gentleman, and that man is Guy Ritchie. And so I was able to pick up Wrath of Man on Blu-ray, not available on 4K, didn't get any special releases. This is a kind of a film that kind of flew under the radar in theatrical release this year. One of the few films to have that, one of those exclusive theatrical releases. And this was a pretty darn good, really fun movie. So again, starring Jason Statham, this is a film that I think honestly takes what the shtick of Jason Statham and really doesn't try to do too much more with it than that. He doesn't have too much dialogue. They don't try to do too much with, any type of real emotional arc. Instead, they just try and tell a fun story. And to be honest, this has some of the best cinematography that I've seen of this year. Guy Ritchie continues to produce really good films, with one exception being back in 2019 when he did the live action Aladdin film. Still can't quite believe that he did that movie. But if you have not seen this film yet, I recommend it. I've actually picked up a few copies of this and given away two of them so far because I love this film. I think it's one of the best films of the year. I gave it an A- in my review. And because this is a film of this year, and I really liked it, I want to be able to kind of share those movies with people so that way other people have the ability to watch these films who otherwise might not have actually had the chance to do so. So that is also, of course, available already. I've also picked up, these are a bunch of films that I've picked up based on either recommendations or based off of, a couple of these are from Hamilton Book. So I watched this one channel called Films at Home. Great channel if you are a physical media collector. And he does every now and then these collection updates from Hamilton Book where you get a bunch of Blu-rays or 4Ks for pretty cheap. And they are, of course, films that, have been out for a little while, been out for a few years. But because of that, the prices have dropped tremendously. You can buy them all together in bulk and get either cheap shipping or free shipping depending on how much you get. And so there were some films in here that I was like, you know what, I remember hearing about this, but I never actually got to see it. And so one of them is How I Live Now with Saoirse Ronan. And so really, I don't know much about this film. It says it's set in the near future UK, where Saoirse Ronan plays Daisy, an American teenager sent to stay with relatives in English countryside. Initially withdrawn and alienated, she begins to warm up to her charming surroundings and strikes up a romance with the handsome Edmund, played by George McKay. So again, there is a lot of fun stuff going on. There's violent, chaotic military state going on, conflict in Europe. So again, one of those films that maybe a lot of people watching the channel may not be more drawn to, but just based on the cover with the war in the background and also Saoirse Ronan in the film too, I'm a big fan of her work. And so this is a movie I remember it coming out, never getting a chance to see it. So I am pretty overall excited for it. One of my subscribers recommended this one to me, and I've shared this on stream before, but The Swordsman, I was able to pick up this film. This was a film from last year that came out, and apparently it's kind of almost in a way a blind, or rather a modern take on The Blind Swordsman. So it's not exactly Zatoichi. It's not trying to pick up that story at all, but it does deal with someone in a similar capacity. What's interesting is that this is actually a Korean film dealing with the subject matter, and so this is a film that is on my Plex server. I cannot wait to watch it. But again, one of the pickups that I've had from this year. Here is another one of my Hamilton Book pickups, and that is The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I remember seeing this in theaters and just having a lot of fun with it, and so I found it for like $3 or $4 on Hamilton Book and said, you know what, this is a movie that I would definitely like to rewatch again, and for $3 to $4, you know what, I think overall that is a pretty good deal. This is one that I was able to pick up on the half off sale that always happens with Criterion, and it's been happening more times in a year, which I, of course, think is a huge win for physical media fans. And this is an Akira Kurosawa film, High and Low. I haven't been able to actually watch this movie yet, but it does intrigue me, not only because it is Kurosawa, but also it features Toshiro Mifune in the film. And it's also one that features both of them, and it's not a samurai period piece. And based on the actual premise of the film, it actually sounds pretty interesting, to say the very least. It sounds like a very awesome drama. Kind of has, I guess, some thriller elements to it as well. So again, very, very excited to see this film and check it out. Another film from Hamilton Book was White Boy Rick. And this is the only reason why I picked this one up is because it stars Matthew McConaughey. All right. I remember the trailer coming out for this movie. And the channel Films at Home, when they did their pickup, they picked this one up themselves because they had heard a lot of really good things about the performances in the film. I do like me some Matthew McConaughey. It looks like one of those indie performances from Matthew McConaughey, which I always appreciate a little bit more than his bigger performances. So again, just because I want to see him in a film like this, which seems to be a little bit more seedy, a little bit more gritty, I do like seeing Matthew McConaughey in those kinds of movies. Another film from Hamilton Book that I was able to pick up is a movie that I've always wanted to own because I actually think it's incredibly underrated, and that is the movie Phone Booth. This is a film that I think is able to take a very limited space and do so much with it. Essentially, what you have here is Colin Farrell in a phone booth being talked to by Kiefer Sutherland's kind of terrorist character saying, if you try and leave this booth, I will kill you, and basically makes him tell all of the secrets, all the things he's been hiding from his family, all the things he's been hiding from his employees, and he basically is forced to come clean with a lot of things, and he becomes a changed man by the end of it. So it's a really fun psychological thriller for that very reason, and it's a movie that really is a lot better than it should be. And so I think that it's a film that also has a sense of rewatchability to it as well. Didn't even realize that this was a Joel Schumacher film either, and I honestly just think, again, it's a lot of fun and great performances from Colin Farrell. Also, even Forrest Whitaker as one of the cops in the film, I think does a great job as well. Another film I picked up from Hamilton Book was Passengers. So this is a film that came out a couple years ago with Chris Pratt and also Jennifer Lawrence. Nothing really too special about this film. It is a movie in space where there is a romance, and then of course there is some chaotic event that happens that again, great that there were people awake during that chaos so that they could actually handle it. But I think in the end, even though it does sometimes get a little bit as far as, that type of redundant storytelling, things that you've seen before done better, I do think that the visual effects are actually a lot better than they should be, based on what likely was not the biggest of budgets for this film compared to other massive budget films that are out there. But again, I think that there were some pretty good performances, and I actually like the chemistry between Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. And again, Chris Pratt, even though he's not always in the best films, he does usually give some pretty solid performances, especially in one of these like rom-com dramedy type films. And I think that this is another example of one of those movies. And so even though it's not the best sci-fi film in the world, it's a fun kind of turn your brain off sci-fi movie. What is not a turn off your brain movie is this film right here, and that is The Protector, which, yes, based on the cover, does have indeed a connection with Quentin Tarantino, who I believe was a producer on this film. But this is one of Tony Jaa's films. It features some of the best fight sequences that you've seen in the last several years. Obviously, this film is it's not old, but it's also not that new either. But this is a film where, again, I had not owned it, and I just saw it available in Hamilton Book and was like, okay, I gotta own this movie, and it was only on sale for a few bucks. This is, if you've ever seen any of the Ong Bak films with Tony Jaa, very similar style as far as, really showcasing and really stressing the art and the martial arts aspects of the film. But I think that this is a really good one. Interestingly, it's a story about a man and his elephant. Basically, it's an elephant that gets stolen, and he really wants the elephant back, and so he goes off on a rampage, just tearing down people. And there's some really great sequences and shots. In fact, I believe it's this one that features this amazing long take where Tony Jaa's character is going up this huge spiral staircase, fighting off people. So the choreography and just the way that they set all of that stuff up, I think, was truly phenomenal. So if you really like any type of martial arts type films, Protector, probably one of the best films to come out in the last 10 to 20 years. This is a kind of a weird one I picked up from Hamilton Book, but I've only seen it one time, and I remember just liking it, not because it was the best movie, but because it was just entertaining, and that is The Last Legion with Colin Firth. And so not only does it have Colin Firth, also have Ben Kingsley in the film, also Aishwarya Rai, who I don't really know a whole lot more other than her being in this film. She's not the best of actresses in the world, but hey, Colin Firth's in it, plays a great job. It says that this is a revelation of the fall of Rome and the birth of King Arthur's mighty sword Excalibur, and you do have a wizard, right, played by Ben Kingsley. And again, it's just a very fun movie. If you like anything dealing with knights, and, kind of a play on European, Arthurian type history where you don't want it to be exactly historically accurate, but you just want it to be fun. The Legion, I think, is a pretty fun movie, especially for only a few bucks that I was able to get for it. Another film from the batch that I got from Hamilton Book was a Gina Carano film, so obviously huge shout out to Gina Carano for her standing up to Hollywood, standing up to Disney and all of the identity politics and all of the, basically the forced thinking mentality that they've been trying to push on, everyone working in Hollywood these days. She stood up to them, and so far has had some pretty good success at this point. But anyway, Scorched Earth is one of the films that she made. The film overall has a really interesting concept. It's set in a kind of like a post-apocalyptic type world, and it is, I think, a pretty interesting story nonetheless. And so it's a film that I think is one where, it's not one of the best films in the world, but if you do want to support someone like Gina Carano, it is a pretty good thing to actually look at. So anyway, Gina Carano, Scorched Earth. She's in a ton of these kind of like lower budget films too, and I think that this is another one of those films where if you like Gina Carano, you'll probably end up liking the film. All right, here are some more of the films I was able to pick up during the Criterion sales, towards the end of the Criterion sale, and like the last day before the sales went away. So one is Akira Kurosawa's Throne of Blood. This is probably one of my favorite films of all time. I remember finally seeing this film and thinking to myself, wow, not only is this an amazing Kurosawa film, an amazing Toshiro Mifune film, but also it is, I think, one of the best takes on Shakespeare's Macbeth. I think that this honestly, or rather, Shakespeare's Macbeth. And I just really honestly think that this is even better than any of the more traditional takes on Macbeth. Anything Shakespearean, for some reason, whenever Akira Kurosawa has it and he sets it in feudal era Japan, just something about it just really works really well. And there's this great sequence at the end where arrows are being shot at Mifune's character, and in the behind the scenes you find out that they actually were, trained archers shooting arrows in his direction. Now, of course, everything was planned and everything, but still, the fear you see in Mifune's eyes when these arrows are landing is very real, because these, again, trained archers still real arrows getting in his direction. So Throne of Blood, if you've never seen it before, highly recommend it. If you like anything about Macbeth or Shakespearean stories or anything just feudal era Japan, I mean, again, Kurosawa at his best, probably my favorite of the Kurosawa films. Another film from Kurosawa I was able to pick up was Rashomon. This is a pretty fun one. It's not as good, I think, as the other films that I've seen from Kurosawa, but it is still, I think, a pretty interesting story, because it takes a tale and tells it from different perspectives, and you as the audience are the ones left to determine who is telling the truth. And I really like how they really play that up, and even in the way the stories are being told, you don't really get to see the council of elders that they're talking to, because it's as if you are the council of elders. And so I think, especially, you know, with the type of filmmaking that Kurosawa has been doing for years, really, I think, sets the standard for a lot of different movie techniques. And again, Rashomon, I think, is, again, a really good film. Not one of my favorites of his, but still very, very well done, and a really compelling story to boot. All right, so another Criterion Collection film. This is actually from Masaka Kobayashi, and that is the Human Condition Trilogy. Technically, it's 6 parts, but they've broken it up into 3 collections, as it were. This is a film that I've just heard a lot of things positive about. It does feature apparently just a groundbreaking performance from Nakadai, who, again, I think is another one of those really really talented Japanese actors, right? Tatsuya Nakadai. So it's a film franchise that I've been wanting to get into. Haven't started watching these yet, but this was a film that, when you think about how much film you get on this and how much you can get it for, even when it's not on sale, it's still pretty amazing what they were able to do with that. And so just the concept alone has me pretty excited. All right, here's some steelbooks that I've been able to pick up, and these are actually some steelbooks that are going to be featured in giveaways. So if you like to win 4Ks, Blu-rays, steelbooks, that kind of thing, think about joining on Patreon, Subscribestar, or on Locals at the Army of Asgard level and above to win stuff like this. In fact, there's a giveaway right now open for this one. And so one of the other 4Ks I was able to pick up was Snatch on 4K. So this is a pop art featured cover. So not one of the best, I think, as far as cover arts go for 4K disc and steelbook, but still, I mean, Snatch, again, as I mentioned before, been, especially the last couple of years, really fond of the various work that Guy Ritchie has been doing. This is, I think, one of the better of his early films too. And so if you've never seen Snatch before, it is now available on 4K, and also you can get it from Best Buy on the 4K Steelbook edition. Another 4K you can get from Best Buy is Dread. Again, a film that people have been clamoring for a sequel for because of just how good it is, and it's one of the few films that Hollywood doesn't really want to give a sequel to. I mean, at this point, I don't think that they would do it justice, but this film that came back in 2012, a huge surprise hit, had some of the worst marketing campaign ever, but man, oh man, this film is just solid in 4K on Steelbook as well. And this one also, too, when I bought it, relatively cheap when you compare this to some other Steelbook and also 4K Steelbooks at that. So they might still be available for anyone if anyone wants to pick that up. So definitely would recommend that. This is one that people, someone had sent to me, actually. I've already shouted them out. I think it was Matthew Hyland who sent me this copy, so I have my copy on my shelf already, but it was the Sicario 4K Steelbook. Again, I just want to shout it out again because it's just so freaking gorgeous. I love the cover art on this, and if you've never seen Sicario, it is a phenomenal film, probably one of Denis Villeneuve's best movies that he's ever done. It features an amazing cinematography on this. I want to say, was it Roger Deakins who did the cinematography on this? Let me try and see if I can find it and not take too much more time. Yeah, Roger Deakins did the cinematography on this. So you get amazing cinematography, amazing direction, amazing storytelling as well. That's another big aspect to this, is this kind of really got us started in started the career writing-wise of, I'm trying to find, but everything he's done, Taylor Sheridan, everything that he's done has been pretty solid, whether it's the films or TV that he's done. So again, if you've never seen this film before, we would definitely recommend it. The sequel is also fun, but not as good as that one. Another steelbook I picked up on 4K was Top Gun on 4K, so I'm very excited for Top Gun 2, but this being available on 4K, I got a need, and that need is, of course, for speed, but most especially on 4K. Another one that I was able to pick up and have given away a few times already is A Quiet Place Part 2 on 4K Steelbook. So I was actually sent the 4K, the regular 4K edition, and I was able to do a review for that earlier on the channel, but I also was, wanting to get the 4K Steelbook as well because I thought it looked pretty awesome. And then the last of the 4K Steelbooks that I was able to pick up myself, this is again something that I've been featuring in some giveaways too, is the John Wick Trilogy. So yes, you get all 3 films on 4K, and actually for the price that you pay for this, it's essentially getting each film for $10. So it's all in one 4K Steelbook, and obviously if you've never seen the John Wick franchise before, I highly recommend it. It's got beautiful cover art on it as well. You get all 3 films again on 4K with all of its goodness. You get some special features on here as well. And again, just really, really awesome, good looking stuff. All right. Whew. Gonna take a little bit of a breath, take a little bit of a sip. That good old H2O. So let's feature now some movies that have been sent to me from subscribers. And so the first one I want to shout out is, I believe this was sent to me by Bruce. I've shouted out already on a live stream, but since this is my total Blu-ray collection update, I'll go ahead and shout him out again. He sent me this film, Automata, featuring Antonio Banderas. It says, in a future where Earth's ecosystem verges on collapse and a man-made robots roam the city, one man must evaluate and eliminate the profound consequences of AI on human existence. And so, again, this seems like a pretty fun sci-fi film. Dylan McDermott is in the film as well. So very, very excited to check this film out in the future. Again, shout out to you, good sir, Bruce, sending that out to me. Another film that I believe was also sent to me by Bruce was this film, which is a Criterion Collection release, and that is Being There, a film by Hal Ashby. This is a film that I have never seen before, actually. It came from 1979, featuring Peter Sellers. And so this is a film that was mentioned on a live stream. I had said I had never seen it before, and it's one of these films that apparently, some people find as like a comfort movie, a film that just makes them feel good or something. So very excited to be able to actually check this out. Criterion, right, always does really good jobs with their releases. So again, Bruce, thank you for sending that my way. I believe, again, Bruce sent that film to me. All right, we got another film here, and this is Conan, The Complete Quest, featuring the Barbarian and the Destroyer. So this is featuring the, I guess this is both of the Conan films. I guess how I'm reading that. Interesting how the first film was R and the second film was PG. That seems to be a pretty big jump there. This is, of course, featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is kind of shown himself to be a bit of an ass in our modern society, saying screw our freedom and such. But I've been told that this is just kind of a fun, quirky film and series of films to see. And so Rosie G12, I believe, is the one who sent me this to watch. And so thank you for sending this to me. And again, Conan the Complete Quest. Never have seen that before in my life. Shout out here to Laura Story, who also, similar thing, heard that I hadn't seen a film and wanted to send me one. She sent me a lot of stuff previously, and so that film is Excalibur. So I've never seen this before. I always do like films, again, that feature King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, so I'm pretty excited to see what this film is going to be able to bring to the table. It also apparently features people like Helen Mirren, Patrick Stewart, Gabriel Byrne, and Liam Neeson in early screen roles, and so to see early performances from them is actually a pretty exciting thing to see, in addition to this, again, being within the King Arthur universe. So Excalibur, thank you again for saying that my way. Laura, she also sent me, by accident, this was something she bought for herself, but she bought me a Mandalorian bobblehead figure, so we'll open this one up on the stream tonight, but I did want to mention that. So again, thank you very much for sending that my way. All right, this is something where, before showing the films that he sent me, I did want to give a bit of a shout out here, because when I opened this up, it just honestly was kind of just a phenomenal experience, and I just don't know exactly how to experience it. But anyway, Jason Williams, he sent me this, and he said, "May you and your family emerge from the pandemic cocoon like a soaring butterfly." And he actually featured these little guys, and so they're ones where literally it just flies. Like, I opened it up, and I actually opened this up originally in the post office because I like to consolidate all my stuff, and literally it flew out of the of the card. So thank you very much for that. But I just wanted to show everyone like what it was. Like, again, pretty amazing stuff there. He also sent a very nice letter, so again, thank you very much for the letter. And the films that he wanted me to be able to check out, one actually was a series, and that is The Chosen, which I've heard a lot of things about from people on the channel, and also even from a lot of my students as well. So he sent me The Chosen Season 1 on DVD. So very excited to be able to check that out since I've never seen it before. And also he sent me Chernobyl. Again, the mini-series Chernobyl on DVD digital from HBO. Again, a series that I've heard a lot of things about being really good. One of the reasons why I was kind of hesitant to watch it was actually because apparently it features a sad scene with dogs, and I don't like when dogs get hurt, but apparently it's just a part of the series itself. But again, thank you for sending me this, because this is also something I've been wanting to check out, but have not had the actual chance to do so. And then the last thing, as far as people, subscribers of the channel sending me stuff, this is actually from Forever Sci-Fi. So Forever Sci-Fi, who's a member on the channel, sent me the entire Police Academy collection. I've never seen any of the Police Academy films before. So it has, of course, all of them, all 7 Police Academy films, and I am incredibly excited to check these out. Again, I really know nothing about this franchise. The cover art is giving me really nothing to know except for just a basic plot synopsis of the movies. So again, very excited to check this out. Shout out Forever Sci-Fi for sending that my way. Whew. Okay, let's go ahead now and dive into, I said, it was going to be a long one, everybody. So these are now the movies that have been sent to me by MVD Visual, Arrow Video. Again, shout out to MVD Visual for working with me and sending me a lot of really cool films. And I'm going to start off with the films that they've recently sent me and then go through films that are a little bit older. All of these films have either already been released or will be releasing by the end of the month or at some point in September. So the first films I want to share are actually the same movie, and it's probably one of the biggest films and one of the most exciting in the entire collection for, I know, people that watch this channel, and that is, and it's going to be, again, kind of ironic in certain ways, but it's David Lynch's Dune. And I've been sent David Lynch's Dune. This is an Arrow Video release, so you get the actual little book that comes with it that gives you all of the little behind-the-scenes stuff, pictures, right, behind-the-scenes pictures. You get the 4K Ultra HD limited edition. You also get various extra features on it and a bonus disc on Blu-ray that gives you a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff on this. Obviously, a lot of people excited for the upcoming rendition of Dune, but I've been sent this one on 4K and also on regular Blu-ray, also the collector's edition. So be on the lookout in the future for a giveaway featuring the non-4K version of the movie, because even though I've already made my thoughts on it pretty clear, again, this is a collector's item for sure, and so I'm going to definitely want to hang on to it for that reason. And hey, maybe I'll give it another shot. Maybe some behind-the-scenes stuff will make me like it better. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, that is freaking awesome. And again, this one is, I believe, almost available. I want to say this one comes out at the end of the month. All right, so some more films that have been sent from me. So this is from MVD Visual. The Return of the Swamp Thing, starring Louis Jordan, Heather Locklear, and Sarah Douglas. So, again, this is a DVD version. So after her mother's mysterious death, Abigail Arcane travels to Florida swamps to confront her resurrected evil stepfather, Dr. Anton Arcane. Interesting. Actually, only know those names because of the short-lived series Swamp Thing, which was fantastic. So I think someone, actually, one of my subscribers sent me the original, or one of the original Swamp Thing movies. So I'm wondering if this is connected to that film specifically. So anyway, that is awesome on DVD. Now I have a Blu-ray here, starring Baywatch star Donna D'Erco is Shira in Escape from Area 51. When conspiracy theorists raid the famous military base Area 51, no one gets in, but someone gets out. Shira. So, again, I know nothing about this series of films, but that is available on Blu-ray from MVD Visual. Another one stars Amanda Lear, called Crazy Nights Uncut and Remastered, the wildest Mondo movie ever. So Italian exploitation icon. Again, 1978 film here. It's one of the strangest snapshots of the disco era. So this one now available on Blu-ray as well. Another Blu-ray from MVD Visual is called Elstree 1976. This actually is something that looks right up my alley specifically. It says it's a feature-length documentary that looks at the lives of the people behind the mask and beneath the helmet seen in the original Star Wars. Over the summer of '76, a wide array of American and British actors, nearly an inexhaustible supply of film extras, donned crazy costumes and headgear to populate what would become one of the most beloved cinematic universes of all time. So this is a documentary, came out in 2016, and it gives a little behind the scenes of the people behind the masks. So again, very interesting stuff here. Again, currently available on Blu-ray. Here we have another 4K release from Arrow. Arrow Video is finally doing various 4K releases, and obviously the one for Dune was one of the first 4Ks that they've done. They also have a 4K release of the Cat O Nine Tails. Following the success of his debut feature, The Bird and the Crystal Plumage, distributor Titanus tasked writer-director Dario Argento with delivering a follow-up in short order. Resulting film granted a greatly enhanced budget and heralded the U.S. marketing campaign as 9 times more suspenseful. When a break-in occurs at a secretive genetics institute, a blind puzzle maker, Franco Arno, who overheard an attempt to blackmail one of the institute's scientists shortly before the robbery, teams up with intrepid reporter Carlo Giordani to crack the case. So, Cat O' Nine Tails available on 4K now from Arrow Video. All right, another Arrow Video release is The Brotherhood of Satan. So again, this is a film that is set to come out pretty soon. Recently widowed Ben, his glamorous girlfriend Nikki, and his small daughter are on the road trip across Southeast when it comes across screeching halt when they witness an accident. So, looks like that's going to go in certain directions there. We have here a DVD from MVD Visual again. So this is called Higher Ed with Prass, Aries Spears, Hill Harper, and Layla Asiera. So Higher Ed is available on DVD. Another Blu-ray available from them is Harry and Snowman. So it looks like this is a documentary. So this says, Dutch immigrant Harry de Leer journeyed to the United States after World War II and developed a transformative relationship with a broken down Amish plow horse he rescued off a slaughter truck bound for a glue factory. Harry paid $80 for the horse and named him Snowman. In less than 2 years, Harry and Snowman went on to win the Triple Crown. Wow. So if you're any fan of Triple Crown or anything like that, you're looking for a fun documentary, so this is available on Blu-ray. Harry and the Snowman, available from MVD Visual. Something from the MVD Rewind collection, a staff pick, is The Dark, a chilling tale of alien terror. In this chilling tale of alien terror, writer takes a personal interest in a series of baffling, shocking murders in Los Angeles, and evidence suggests the suspect may not be human. So, again, The Dark. If that sounds fun to you, it's available from them. Engelbert Humperdinck, Blu-ray and CD. So once every now and then, MVD also does these Blu-ray CD combo packs. Sometimes they're actually within a typical CD case. In this case, it's in a typical Blu-ray case. And so if that sounds fun to you, again, if this is your type of music, again, Engelbert has a Blu-ray out right now. Also, we got here a rendition of 42nd Street. So this is a filming of 42nd Street that happened back in, let's see, I think 2020. It was released in 2021. But again, this is, I think this is the Broadway. Yeah, this is from Broadway HD. So MVD Visual was able to pick up the rights to this. And so if you want to see one of the revivals of 42nd Street, that is available on Blu-ray. Not many of those typically get Blu-ray releases. All right, we got another Blu-ray release here featuring Christian Bale, Gabriel Byrne, Helen Mirren, and Kate Beckinsale. That is Royal Deceit. So again, I mentioned this on stream before. Just an incredibly young Kate Beckinsale and Christian Bale here. So again, them featured in this time of knights and swords just sounds, again, like a fun time to be had. So anyway, that is available on Blu-ray. Another one from Arrow Video is a film called Threshold. It says, some bonds are stronger than blood. When a phone call from out of the blue brings Leo back into contact with his sister, long estranged from her family due to years of drug abuse, he arrives to find her alone in a bare apartment in the midst of an apparent overdose. So again, a psychological, looks like a psychological drama thriller here. So called Threshold. Another Blu-ray from MVD Visual is Mr. Jealousy, Eric Stoltz and Annabella Sciorra, I think is what it is. So Eric Stoltz, the man who was replaced in Back to the Future. Mr. Jealousy. I've actually never seen an Eric Stoltz film before. And I know that people are going to mention films that he was in that I should have seen, but hey, there we go. First film I'll be able to watch from him. Don't Go Gentle, a film about idols, it says. It says, the film finding strength and vulnerability journeys through idols, determination, friendship, adversity as they fight for a place in a divided socio-political environment, unexpectedly inspiring, unifying an international community along the way. So it looks like another one of the documentaries that they pick up. So Don't Go Gentle. Again, not too much given there in that information. We have another MBD Rewind collection, One Dark Night Horror, a shocking tale of horror that takes you far beyond. World-renowned psychic Raymar is found dead after announcing that he had uncovered the secret of how to become even more powerful in death by the use of telekinetic powers. At the same time, two high school girls plan an initiation night for their friend Julie, who is determined to shed her goody-good image. So, again, another one of those seedy, probably 80s horror films there. And then another Arrow video release here is Blind Beast, a film by Yasuzo Mazumura. It says it's a grotesque portrait of the bizarre relationship between a blind sculptor and his captive muse, adapted from a short story. That sounds terrifying. So anyway, from MVD Visual, or rather, sorry, from Arrow Video. Again, they always do great Blu-ray releases here. Blind Beast is now available. Let us see. Another Blu-ray from Arrow Video is the Sergio Martini collection. So this features films The Suspicious Death of a Minor, Your Vice is a Locked Room, and Only I Have the Key, The Case of the Scorpion Tail. So you get 3 films in this collection. It says, one of Italian cinema's most celebrated and prolific filmmakers, Sergio Martino, worked across a range of genres. So again, if you are a fan of Italian cinema or Sergio Martino, there is, again, all 3 of those movies there. We also have another special release from Arrow Video, Major Dundee, starring Charlton, Heston, and Richard Harris. So this has here a theatrical and extended edition. As it says, after making his first bona fide classic, Ride in High Country, director Sam Peckinpah took a step towards the epic with Major Dundee. The film would in many ways define the rest of his career both on and off screen, as a drama behind the camera matched the action in front of it. So if you like those films that have fun on-screen stories, but then also a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, boom, you got something right there with Major Dundee. Again, this also includes not just those films, but also a booklet as well and a poster, which usually come with these special editions from Arrow Video. All right, just got a few left down here. So here is another Blu-ray. It says, the last time I committed suicide with Thomas Jane, Keanu Reeves, Adrian Brody, and I'm trying to think if I mentioned or if I recognize any of those other names. I don't recognize those. But anyway, another Keanu Reeves here. In the idyllic post-war 1950s, young men across the country were aspiring to achieve the American dream of marriage, family, stability, but others longed for something different. So, interesting title to a movie. Hopefully YouTube does not attack me for the title of that. Another MVD Rewind collection, Action USA. Action, action, action. Billy Ray's a bad risk. He took the mob's family jewels and now they want his. They tried beating and scaring it out of him, but he's not giving them up, so they kill him. Now everyone believes Carmen must know where the jewels are. So that's the kind of action that you like. Boom, Action USA is for you. Another thing from MVD Visual is a Scott Atkins collection. So he's known for being a stuntman most of the time, but he's done his own films too. So this features Close Range and Savage Dog. And so I've heard that he is, I mean, again, not an amazing actor necessarily, but that he's not just a stuntman. He actually can put on some pretty good performances. And so I can imagine that there's going to be a lot of really good stunts in these films. Again, Close Range, Savage Dog, both of them now featured thanks to MVD Visual on Blu-ray. So again, if you want a double feature here, those are now available as well. Let's see, another MVD Rewind collection, the inside story of Canon Films, The Go-Go Boys. So this is actually, it looks like the ones that did Superman. It says, Go-Go Boys, the inside story of Canon Films, a documentary about 2 Israeli-born cousins who, in pursuit of American dream, turned the Hollywood power structure upside down, producing over 300 films, becoming the most powerful independent film company in the world. And so if you love documentaries, especially about film industry, in fact, Tina, this sounds like it probably might be right up your alley. This is available from MVD Visual, so a documentary there on Blu-ray. Another Blu-ray is An American in Paris, the musical. So another musical from MVD Visual. So this is based off of the, it looks like this is from the UK version, the original London company. So the original London cast of An American in Paris. I've seen the original film, and that was fantastic. So I would definitely be open to seeing this version. Again, a stage version there. All right, and then just 2 more here. All right, we have Vengeance Trails for classic westerns. So this is another, Arrow Video collection. It has here Massacre Time, My Name is Pecos, Bandidos, and God Said to Cain. In the mid-1960s, the runaway success of Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy gave rise to an explosion of similar productions as filmmakers by the dozen sought to capitalize on this new, uniquely Italian take on the Western, characterized by their deeply cynical outlook, morally compromised anti-heroes, and unflinching depictions, savage violence. This specially curated selection gathers together 4 outstanding examples of the genre from the height of its popularity, all centered around the theme of revenge. So if you are a fan of the spaghetti westerns, Vengeance Trails, again, 4 different featured westerns here, inspired by the films of would that be Sergio Leone? Anyway, of the Dollars trilogy. All right, and then the last thing I have is yet another 4K release from Arrow Video, and this is Dario Argento's The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. So this is available on 4K. As it says here, in 1970, the young-time first director Dario Argento made his indelible mark on Italian cinema with The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, a film which defined the giallo genre of murder mystery thrillers and catapulted him to international stardom. So if you have ever been a fan of him or of this film, now available not just on Blu-ray from Arrow, but also on 4K. And again, these special edition sets like this always come with the booklet, gives you more behind-the-scenes stuff, and also a mini poster as well. Whew! All right, those are all the films that I have been sent. So I want to give, again, a shout-out to Lionsgate for sending me films. Shout-out to the subscribers of this channel for sending me a ton of films, and a huge shout out, of course, to MVD Visual for always being very generous, sending me tons of films to watch and to eventually review, hopefully for the channel. Again, especially thank you for all of these new 4K Arrow video releases as well. So again, shout out to Arrow for continuing to put these films out and now essentially force the hand of companies like Criterion, who are now also diving into the 4K genre as well. So anyway, those are all the films that I've watched. Do you know or recognize any of them? Let me know if any of those films reach out to you at all. And also, let me know if there's other films that you have picked up or that you think I should be picking up soon. And I will be having another video, hopefully, a little bit more manageable in size in the near future. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below this video. Smash that like button, light up that fire button. It really does mean a lot. You're all amazing, beautiful people. Huge shout out to Gomer Kyle79, who is a new member over on Patreon. I'll get you added in the September video once that goes live in a few days. You guys are all amazing. I will see you all later tonight for the live show. Have a wonderful night. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my August Locals, Patreon, and Subscribe Star members, starting off with my Locals crew: Cat's App, The Real It, D Sharp, Biffer the Hobbit, Robert Barnes, and Goblin Squatch. Thank you all very much for supporting me over on Locals. And now on to my Patreon members: Andrew Hoyle, Brian P., Christopher Bowman, Dion, Don Bruno de la Mancha, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father. Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, Inflamed Wood, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toone, Jonathan Carney, Lance, Laura, the Modern Major General's Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mondo Spieler, Mr. Peabody, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Priscilla Hall, Rosetta Allen, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bojan, and Tina B, the Empress of the Universe. Thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. And lastly, to my Subscribe Star peeps: Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, John B, Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / the new number 2, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man. And a shout out to one new member, Hannibal Grimm. And a huge shout out to newest members, Brandon and Joe Horn. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Subscribestar, and to everyone for supporting me on these platforms. Also, a shout out to all of my YouTube members. You get shouted out at the end of every single live stream. And if you want to have your name shouted out at the end of every live stream and every video, please check out my Locals Patreon Subscribe Star. And you can go ahead and find those links in the top link of this description. You can find it's called the Willow link, and it'll have a list to literally all of the social media platforms and all of the different ways that you can support the channel. If you join at the $1 level, you can actually get your name shouted out at the end of every single video and live stream. $5 level gives you that, plus you get access to exclusive giveaways of 4K titles. Right now, I've got tons of 4K Steelbooks to give away this month, including for Top Gun. I also have A Quiet Place Part 2, I have Snatch on 4K, the John Wick Trilogy on 4K, and also I have a Sicario 4K disc as well, and a bunch of others that are going to be coming in this month too. So if you want to have access to any of those types of exclusive giveaways, join at the Army of Asgard level. At the $10 level, the Keeper of the Bifrost level, you get all of that, plus you get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes videos, including instant reactions when I go to see movies. I do quick little filmings of myself and talk about the films that I have seen and my instant reactions to that. You also get access to an exclusive podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger once or twice a month, and you get to also ask us any question that you want. We put a Q&A post up, and you get to ask us whatever it is that you want to ask. So again, if that sounds cool to you, Keeper of the Bifrost level. And lastly, there is the Chosen of Valhalla level, where you get all that stuff. Plus, in your first month as a Chosen of Valhalla member, you get a free t-shirt, your choice, ship it anywhere in the world, and also you get to once a month be featured on the OMB Reviews channel, and you get to talk with me. We usually chill out for 3 to 4 hours, and I ask everyone what they've been watching, what they want to talk about, what they want to promote, and it's always a really good time. And so if that sounds interesting to you, please consider joining. That is going to be on Subscribestar and on Patreon only, as Locals is just the Keeper of the Bifrost level. But anyway, thank you all very much for your time, for your support, and for listening to this shout-out video. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless.